Welcome one and all to Mildly Informed. I'm Richie Firth, he's Chris Skinner. We chat about our weeks, we review what's been going on in the intent and hope that we leave you mildly informed. Christopher, how are you?
I'm really good. It's another nighttime record, so the new lighting that our Patreons bought us last week is coming to good effect right now because I'm feeling like it's full daylight here.
You look beautifully lit. I feel like I'm in some kind of one of those therapy rooms where you're actually sort of like being given false daylight just to improve your suffering from seasonally adjusted disorder or something.
Funny enough, I do have a sad lamp just next to me over there. I have one of them too.
Get it on. But Patreons, thank you so much. 2 weeks running. We're evangelical about our lights. If you're not a Patreon, there's a reason to come and have a look.
But thank you. Show so we can buy lights. That's the pitch.
That's exactly what podcasting is all about. You can see the visualized format of this on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Also, the little TikTok shorts that Chris works so hard on. Please, in the meantime, like and review if you are not consuming this with all its lumen glory.
Now, on the TikTok clips, there was a bit from last week's show which has proven to be highly contentious.
Now, this is one of the reasons that I don't like the whole TikTok stuff, because on TikTok, right, we're doing a carefully crafted podcast to be consumed in audio form. But the TikTokers wade on in with their bite-sized clips, getting outraged by clips out of context. What piece of information have they got annoyed by this week?
I understand how you set that up there, Rich, but the fact is in the clip, as happened in the show, I called bullshit straight away. And that was you delivering the clip about the chicken Kiev being created by Marks and Spencer.
Correct.
And then having absolutely zero to back that up and just being mystified as to why you'd need to back it up. And then thousands of people seeing the clip online and going, bullshit, didn't happen, not the case. The kindest people out there are saying, I think you'll find that actually they just put it in their packaged meal line in the late 70s, which popularised it in the UK. Many people are going, actually, I think you'll find it was popularised in France based on a dish that originated in Russia and the Ukraine long past. And other people are saying, what you on about? Do some bloody research. Have you ever heard of Google? What's this mug on about? Unbelievable.
This has never been based on fact.
One nice person then commented, if you didn't hear last week's show, please do listen, that they actually found the Bernard Jenkins story more believable, the bit that I made up in response to your bit.
Okay, I think one thing that we all did discover as a mildly informed community is that Marks and Spencer's did do the first ever convenience fast food meal, which was a chicken Kiev.
I don't even know if I think there's some truth in that, but I don't even know how accurate that is.
Well, let's settle on some truth and move forward.
Should we just make up a TikTok rage bait clip now and see if people do bite out of context, like you said? So let's. Okay, I'm gonna think of one now. Here we go. Rich, loads of people think that these have been around forever, but did you know the towel, the modern towel that we use to dry ourselves, was invented in 1942 in Mexico, and is hailed as one of the great inventions of the 20th century?
I did know that because it was invented in the small Mexican town of Tawel.
That's it. That's how it got its name.
Fascinating.
Okay. That's going up. That's going up on our socials this week. Let's see what they say.
Oh, rage bait experiment. Love it.
It's gonna get like 4 views now and no comments. It's like TikTok can smell it somehow.
Yeah, delete it. It was never posted.
Rich, let's crack on by mildly informing our listeners for the week that we just experienced ourselves. Tell me one thing really exciting and interesting that's happened to you in the last week.
Chris, I've started getting addicted to documentaries.
Oh,
Do you think this is something that happens when you reach a certain age in life? You go through your university years, you have certain favorite TV shows that you binge. Then you grow up and you start having families and you start binging on different types of TV shows because you're just knackered parents and you just want to watch a couple of episodes of something a night. And then you get to your mid to late 40s and all of a sudden you're into documentaries. Chris, I can't stop watching documentaries.
all right. Okay. Is this just like Nazi stuff and like really dry history? Or is this like this modern wave of look at those young people who got stranded at a festival and that boat that got full of poop?
Oh my God. The first one that I've watched this week was called Trainwreck Poop Cruise. And it was indeed it was an hour-long documentary about a cruise ship that had an engine failure in the Gulf of Mexico and basically filled up full of shit. Oh, Chris, it was incredible.
I mean, I have to say, I saw the trailer for that and I thought, you know what, 90 seconds is enough. I'm not watching the full hour.
I watched the whole thing. So
Oh,
that was documentary number one. Then the following night, with a taste of documentaries, do you know what I watched for the next one? National Geographic Channel, going even more posher.
God.
The Making of the Disney Wish, an hour and a half long documentary about how to make a cruise ship.
About how to actually build a boat.
Correct.
And did you find out if the captain is wearing trousers at the captain's table?
The captain was sat in the captain's chair, but because it was such a brand new ship, the chair had a dust sheet over it, so you couldn't really tell what kind of clothes he was wearing.
Right,
But
okay.
it was fascinating. They build these things like as if they're making some kind of Meccano Airfix cruise ship. It's absolutely amazing. Honestly, like if you went back 10 years, I would have been binging the likes of Ray Donovan
Mm.
on Sky Atlantic or nuts deep into Game of Thrones. But now here I am, two nights running watching documentaries about cruise ships. It's coincidence that they were both related to cruise ships, one brand new and one just with a failing sewage system.
I like the idea of the one you saw second actually being a prequel, and it's like it's here is everything that built up, and it's so beautiful and such impressive engineering, and yet crash of thunder, and it's a
Ah,
shitstorm.
now, for for clarity's sake, two different cruise companies. The cruise company that filled up with shit, Carnival Cruises. The cruise company that were making a brand new ship, Disney Cruise Line.
Okay, okay. And which was the better doc?
Which was the better documentary? Probably We All Like a Disaster.
Yeah,
Probably the one that was about the cruise ship that was
yeah,
filling up with
yeah,
poo.
yeah. Okay, interesting. Um, I like documentaries a lot. I've made a lot of documentaries in my earlier existence, mostly music documentaries. Um, I I I can, to be honest, I often find the conclusion really unsatisfying. I often find that the meat of the documentary is dished up in the first 10 minutes, and then it fails to live up to expectations. Um,
Hmm.
However, I am a sucker for a sensationalist documentary. Give me a bunch of people at Fire Festival. Give me, like the recap of the Woodstock Festival. That's a really good documentary as well. Or give me a decent political one where all the main players come to the party and tell the story how it was. I will watch that, but I don't have the concentration span to do it all in one sitting. I tend to do them like 7 to 10 minutes at a time, and I'll watch one documentary in a week.
Really? Even if it's like
Yeah,
an hour-long documentary? Because for me, that's what's great about it. It's just a 60-minute thing. I don't have to be in the midst of a clear week where I can
Mm.
binge a series or something. I like the fact that I can drop in and be like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, tonight I fancy watching a documentary about how the Heathrow luggage belts work.
Well, I would love to watch that.
I've not seen that one, by the way. I don't think it exists.
Oh,
But
it
Heathrow,
does.
if you're
It
listening,
must.
make it.
I basically, when I put the kids down to bed, I'm like, I need to watch something that isn't real. I'm like, I'm so tired at the end of the day. I want to watch like an hour of some people doing some mad stuff. Like, you talked about Ray Donovan, so it could be like in a gangster world, it could be in a fantasy world, it could be some epic drama. Documentaries are too real and almost always about things that went wrong.
Yeah, but here's the thing then. Like one of those documentaries I mentioned was the one about the making of a cruise ship. That's real, but it's not
Yep.
about things going wrong. It's actually, that is sort of like fascinating. And I was watching that one. I was like, I can't believe this. This is amazing. This is so cool. Wow. Didn't realize that. Amazing.
Was it literally riveting?
I see what you've done there. And you've almost exposed how you've probably got a 7-minute chunk and then serious chat. You're gone. You're out. So I'm going to give documentaries. I'm going to give them a 4-star review because I think you've got to be of a certain age and then you start getting into them. It wasn't for the younger you or me, but 4 stars documentaries.
That's an amazing high review for something that basically involved you sat staring at people wading through crap. That's stunning.
Chris, what's been on your mind this week?
I did a little thing at the weekend, Rich, and I think I did a good deed. But it is morally ambiguous. It is dubious whether or not this could be considered a good deed. And in fact, it is connected to something that you have raised on this show in the past.
Oh, wow. I love moral ambiguity. So please do tell me more.
I am on the transport network with my youngest child, and we are heading from south of the river back up to East London. And there's a bunch of teenage kids ahead of us trying to go through the gate. And there is one lad who has his debit card out and he taps it on. And a bunch of his mates go through all at once through the barrier.
Hugely irritating.
I know it irritates you and it bothers me less. But then the barrier shuts and he is stuck the other side and he can't go through. Now, I'm guessing his intention was to go through himself. So his 3 friends and him, it was his intention to go through. But all of a sudden, this lad who's like, 14 years old, probably got a topped up debit card, clearly has no income of his own, is now stranded. His mates are through the barrier and he is stuck there.
That's where you pause. There is no ambiguity in this. That is him being taught a lesson.
I disagree. So I saw what was going on. I saw him looking confused. And I walked up and I had my daughter in my arm. My daughter walks through with me. Obviously, she's young enough for that not to be a crime. And I tap on and I say, come with me. And I push him and my child through with me at the same point. And he's like, oh, thanks, mate. Thanks so much. And off he goes and he runs off and catches up with his mates and on he goes. And I was like, yeah, I think I did a good thing then.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because what you've actually done is aiding and abetting. You have helped a crime take place.
I have helped a teenager away from home, alone, who has just lost their friends, catch up with them.
You have helped the ringleader of a posse of five villains get through.
My feeling on this is arrest everyone who has evaded tax over the last 10 years, then go after the kids who are not paying their couple of quid on the tube fare.
I can't argue with that.
I knew as soon as I did it, I was walking with my daughter down towards the platform, down the escalator, and I thought, I've got to tell Richie about this. He's going to love it.
There's a part of me that's proud that it came to that thought so quickly. But what's really irritating is that it's because it's the exact opposite of what I would have done.
So you would have just gone, out of the way, mate.
No, I would have been serves you right and would have kept on walking through.
Oh, poor wee. I mean, I don't know if I could have, even if they had seen me the TFL stuff. I don't know if I would have got into trouble for doing that or not.
Of course,
Or
you would have
that
done aiding and abetting. If I would have seen the TFL staff, if I would have seen them, I would have said, "Excuse me, you might want to go and see. There's a fare evader there, and he's trapped in the jaws of the gates."
okay. If you are watching this now or listening to this now, and you work for TFL, and you saw me buzz through a kid who had lost his friends, who wasn't paying, and I basically tapped in and he came through the gate with me, would I be in trouble?
The way you're using language too vividly there by saying but helping out a kid who had buzzed through his mates. No. A 14-year-old urchin who thought he could get away with not paying for his fare.
Okay. Well, I hear what you say. I understand the position that you come from.
This 14-year-old paid for every single bus fare into town when I was 14, going into town as a kid. And if I tried to get on a bus as a 14-year-old when I was 14 and I didn't have any money, I ain't getting on that bus and I'm turfed off by a surly, miserable bus driver. Times have
Yeah,
changed and it's not necessarily for the better.
I disagree, and I am going to give helping out a kid who may or may not have been involved in fare dodging 4 stars.
I am going to give helping criminals 0 stars.
Criminals. Criminals. It's the Old Bailey for you.
I don't like it, Chris. I don't like it. They've got to learn
I
young.
thought that would be the case. Shall we take a break?
Let's. Welcome back. If you've got any comments about what you've heard so far, whether it is to do with old Robin Hood of the Fair Dodgers over there, then you can find us on the socials at Producer Chris or at Richie Firth, or indeed leave your comments in the comment section of YouTube and indeed TikTok.
So welcome.
Or you
Rich,
can email us, mildly informed pod, or you can email us mildlyinformedpod at gmail.com.
Rich. Oh dear, it's late and I think we're getting silly. Tell me something ideally not quite so contentious that's happened to you this week.
Chris, I've been very cynical about AI. Very cynical about
Yep.
AI until this week. I think I've mentioned on this show before that I help run an under sevens football team, soon to be under eights. Now, I'm no Jose Mourinho, but it's not easy doing that. Not necessarily just the herding of cats that is trying to get 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds to listen to what you're saying or give them any impression that you know a little bit about football and you can help them, but actually the logistical organization of making sure that all of them are there at the right time on a Saturday morning with all of their shin pads and all of their kit and all of their water bottles, and that you're giving them the exact amount of playing time that is fair, that's one of the hardest parts of it.
I get it. I mean, I've umpired my daughter's cricket before. I think I might have talked about this on the show. The idea of giving a child out who's just trying to learn the sport, the idea of not giving them a fair opportunity is horrifying. However,
Says the man that let a 14-year-old through a ticket barrier earlier,
I'm all
having
about
not paid.
opportunity, mate. I'm all about opportunity. Rich, though, I don't get what this has to do with AI.
Well, the team that I manage, we have got a friendly coming up at the weekend. And it's only a five-a-side football match, but actually we've got 10 players available that day. I'm sure if you look at the maths, that's a nightmare. And I was sat there thinking, this is really, really tricky. And I want this to be fair for all of the boys because when it comes down to it, I do keep remembering they're only 7. I want them to enjoy their Saturday morning. I want it to be fair. We can compete and learn more as they get that little bit older. So I sat there and I thought, do you know what? I might ask ChatGPT to help me work this out. So I just asked it a question. I just put in, I said, hello, I'm organising a five-a-side football match this weekend. It's being played over 40 minutes. There's going to be 4 quarters of 10 minutes. I've got 10 players. I want them to all have fair game time. Such and such likes to play in goal, all this kind of stuff. What
Yeah.
do I do? Hit return. A little thing spins for about 2 seconds and it comes back with an exact plan for the 40 minutes, making sure that every single one of those lads had exactly the same amount of game time. And I hadn't had to do any thinking whatsoever.
I guess that works really, really well if you're trying to provide an opportunity. If you were to see new Tottenham manager Thomas Frank employing that tactic from the touchline in the new football season, he might not last. He might not last Nuno time.
No, do you know what? Genuinely, I do think in the Premier League, there will be managers that do this. Now, they won't necessarily come out and say, oh, by the way, I used ChatGPT this week. But
Hmm.
what they can do is say, hey, hello, my name is Thomas Frank. I want to get off to a good start on my first home game as Tottenham manager. These are the players that I've got. I have noticed that Richarlison's not as good as he once was, or Brennan Johnson looks hot after scoring that winning goal in the European final. What do you reckon my starting 11 will be? ChatGPT will give all those things, and then Thomas Frank goes out and puts out his 11. He doesn't
Yep.
say that it's ChatGPT'd AI'd or anything, does he?
No, no. Look, maybe that is how we will actually do it. If we stop having our own inbuilt bias and we just let the numbers be crunched, then maybe that's a better thing. I think you've used ChatGPT really well there. I think you have embraced AI in a positive way, and I think that's really good.
That's the thing, because all these people that fear AI, they're thinking, oh, it's going to take over the world and there'll be robots and all that kind of stuff. Without me saying, hey, AI, I need this help for this
Mm.
game, it's not as if AI ain't turning up with a load of robots and playing that game instead of us on Saturday morning. We've still got to play it. I've got to put that input in the first place. So without us, AI is nothing.
Mm.
So I guess what I'm kind of saying is don't fear it. It's here to help.
Did you put any extra notes in there? Like, for example, little Nigel in our team, he's a bit crap. Don't want to give him too much time. Whereas, like, little Bob, oh my God, he's a goal scorer. We've got to give him time.
No, I didn't do that because it was all about making sure that everyone's got 20 minutes. In some respects, if I was decent at mental arithmetic, I wouldn't have needed AI in the first place. I
No.
probably could have worked out the formula. No, I'm not. I'm not letting it do any of the sort of like the managing. For me, this was all about game time.
Are you not tempted, though, to factor that in and say, like, because there's always a room for margin. There's like 20%, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So could you say, factoring in the fact that some players can play 20% more than others, and these are the players ranked in their ability, can you give me a way of giving everyone good match time, but ensuring the best players spend the longest on the pitch?
I guess a season is a long time in football. I think there's a saying that
Mm.
says that. Let's see how things are come October, November, and whether I've got the support of the board. I might ask AI to do a little bit more than I am at the moment.
I love it. You should. And I look forward to the reaction. Whilst you were talking about that, Rich, I thought I use ChatGPT quite a lot. I wonder what the last thing is I did on it. And I
Okay.
saw that the last thing I did in it was fall out with my oldest child in an argument about what's quicker, a helicopter and or a plane, and ChatGPT explaining in some detail a helicopter versus a plane in a trip for London to Lanzarote. And it gives you an amazing deep dive analysis into how long it would take using each mode of transport.
But how is that even an argument? That's got to be a
Yeah.
plane every day of the week.
She's a primary school kid.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Okay. I'm going to give AI 5 stars. Don't fear the future.
I fear the future.
I fear the future because you let criminals sue. Chris, what else is on your mind this week?
It is a incredible segue from what you have just done and given 5 stars to what I am now about to review, Rich.
Can't wait.
I want to review kickboxing Chinese robots.
Yet he says he doesn't fear the future.
I got sent a video this week. It seems to have gone viral. And it was of the world's first kickboxing robot competition, which took place in China last month. And I watched it, and I'm now going to paste into our chat a link to it so you can watch it as well. And all I have to say is, well, 2 things. Number 1, these robots, I could kick the shit out of them. I could absolutely, if one of those robots that won a kickboxing tournament wanted to fight me, for the first time in my life, I think I've seen a fight champion who I could beat in a fight. Point 2, they were actually much better than I was expecting. And I'm like, I think I can only say that for probably another year or 2, and then we're done for.
I mean, it's better than I was expecting. Can I ask a question? Why are they wearing protective headgear? They're robots.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Why is there a referee? They're robots. But yeah, they're better than I thought they would be. But I could absolutely have one of them. I mean, he's struggling. He's struggling to get. He's fallen out of the ring. He's got tangled up in the ropes.
Look how he jumps up.
That's mind blowing.
There is footage online of a kind of robot guard dog that is absolutely terrifying and genuinely puts like the fear of God into me. But it would kick the shit out of those robots. Those robots are pathetic. Come for me, lads. I've never really had fighting talk. I sound weird when I'm challenging someone to a fight.
Can we explore fighting robots?
Yep.
We should talk in a minute about where this all started, and that is, of course, Robot Wars with Jonathan Pierce.
Yep.
However, the automated robot guard dog you talk about, why is that particularly scary? Has it got like robot jaws? Because if it looks like a dog in robot form, but it can't chomp you, I still don't see what is scary about it.
I'm going to try and bring this up now.
You tip a bucket of water over it and it's broke.
Right, now I'm getting an advert, so bear with me.
What's yours for?
It's for Avis.
We don't need to hire a car at the moment. That was our old podcast.
No, it was our old podcast. This robot, genuinely, like, again, it's not quite there yet, but it's on the way enough to make me think, oh God, I'm going to get hunted down and killed by a robot dog at some point in my life. Right, the end of my life.
He sent yet another link. This can't be the future of podcasting, by the way.
No, don't worry. There's going to be some heavy edits here.
Two people sending each other YouTube links and talking about it. Although I guess that is what Gillette Soccer Saturday is.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Right, I'm closing down that tab. It ain't going to bite anything. Basically, what that is a security camera on 4 legs, and they're calling it a guard dog. It's not. It's just a moving security camera.
Mate, it's coming for us.
Did you used to watch Robot Wars? I used to love that.
I did used to watch Robot Wars, and I found, and this, you know, the conversation we had about documentaries earlier on. I found I could watch 7 minutes of it and be really interested.
Do you know what? This is going to make me sound a bad person, but I think my enjoyment of Robot Wars was 50% the technical wizardry and 50% watching the face of a pot-bellied man when his robot died.
And this is coming from a man
with a pot belly
who was part of a team, including me, who built a go-kart and raced it down a hill
But we won.
Very, very similar. I know we did win. And how much did you mock the guys who were crap in that pen?
As much as I laughed at the losers on Robot Wars. I've always taken great pleasure in someone else's misfortune. I am a very evil man.
Just give us a review and move on. Oh, no, is it my turn to give it a review? It's my review, isn't
yours.
it? I give Chinese fighting robots 3 stars. 1 for how hard they are now, 5 for how much they're going to beat us all up in about 2 years' time.
Let's take a break because I'm really worried about how joined up and together this episode of Mildly Informed is. And we're back. Mildly Informed Pod at gmail.com, or any of the comments on TikTok or YouTube are 2 of the ways to get in touch with us. Chris, it's all been a little bit too joined up tonight, and I don't recognise who we are.
Why? What are you about to talk about?
I've seen an invention this week, and I think gadgets may have peaked with what I've seen.
Oh, so this is a hot new thing on our shelves right now?
I don't know whether it's on our shelves. I would imagine it's been invented to be able to be bought. It's called Poker Provoke. And what it is a card shuffling machine. I've always been crap at shuffling cards. But somebody has made a machine that shuffles cards for you. But it's even better than that because it's got some presets if you tell it what the game is that you're playing and the amount of players there are. So the demonstration I saw was for a game of Uno, and you told it that there were 4 players playing, and what you did was put in the top of the Poker Provoke, you put in the top of it the entire deck of Uno cards, set it up to say that you're playing Uno, 4 players, and then this thing just rotates. It shuffles the cards to begin with and then rotates in a circle, spitting out 4 to 4 contestants, however many cards that you need for a game of Uno each. I think it's 7 to begin with. And it's all done within 10 seconds. Incredible.
How big is the device?
I'd say the device is the size of a bedside alarm clock, like an old Teasmade.
They're 2 different sizes.
Okay, let me go in another reference point. Okay. one that we can't argue about. And bear in mind, I've not seen this in real life. I've only seen it online. We are talking about something. It's just stressing me out now. I would say that this device is probably if you went and bought a pair of trainers, and
yes,
they were in a shoebox, but you halved the shoebox, that is the size of it.
So a shoebox for 1 shoe.
No, not for 1 shoe. A 2-shoe shoebox.
Yeah.
But you shrink it so it's a square. That's the size of what this shuffling machine is.
Half a shoebox.
Half a shoebox, yeah. With 2 halves of a shoe in.
Right. Okay. Would that fit in your suitcase on holiday?
Now that's a really good point. Because it would take up a fair bit of space to take on holiday. But I would suggest if you're a family that plays Uno on holiday, I don't think you're going abroad and are governed by luggage weights. I think you're probably holidaying in the UK, going camping, maybe host seasons or something or other. I don't think people that go abroad take Uno.
I take Uno abroad.
Do you?
Yeah, it's we have sat there on our Eurocamp. We have sat there by the pool on our package holiday to Lanzarote, and we've played a bit of Uno, a bit of cards.
Okay, you do, but genuinely, I honestly do think people that holiday abroad, people that are fortunate enough, privileged enough to be able to pay for a foreign holiday, I don't think they are the kind of people that take Uno. I think they've got other things.
I don't
Uno
believe
is
you.
Uno is very much a domestic game.
Sleeping Queens?
We played that on the train, didn't we?
We did.
I don't know whether that's in the setting of this shuffling machine. Honestly, Chris, this machine is amazing.
Okay.
Poker
Yeah, sorry,
Provoke,
we got
and
distracted.
they haven't paid.
Okay. So this is a machine that shuffles cards.
Yes.
And then you tell it how many players are playing, and then it deals the cards.
Correct. It shuffles and deals. Takes all of the crap out of card playing.
And it fits inside less than a shoebox.
If you halved a shoebox to make it more square-like, I would speculate that it fits inside that.
And runs on batteries.
I don't know. I don't know what it runs on.
And how much does it cost?
I didn't see a price point either.
All right, okay. So here we go then. Rich, what's it called again?
Poker Provoke.
Rich, I've got a Poker Provoke, brand new.
No,
I'm
not
selling it to you now.
Poker. Poker, as in the card game. Yeah.
Okay, I've got Poker Provoke.
No, Poker.
And no, this is the rival brand that I.
Okay, right, fair enough. All right.
And I am going to sell it to you now, and I'm going to. So, would you buy it? £5.
If it was only £5, I don't think that's enough for me to be sure that it's of good enough quality.
Mate, it is winner of Tech Magazine's Gadgets 2025.
I've never heard of that magazine. I don't think something that is £5 is going to do the job.
Okay.
You've got to remember, this is a machine that knows how many players are playing and loads of different card games.
So you're not buying it for £5? Okay, fine.
No. I've got, by the way,
it.
I've got a price in my mind that I would pay for this.
£10.
No.
Still too bad. It's still too bad a product.
Too bad a product.
£25.
You still need to go a little bit further north.
Okay, £36.50.
You've gone too far, but not by much.
Would you pay £36.50 for it?
$35.99 is the figure I had in my mind.
$35.99.
Yes.
I'm afraid it's £36.50.
No, you can go screw yourself. I'm all right, mate. I'll shuffle my own cards.
At 51p.
Oh my God. And at this point, we've reached the moment where we say goodbye to those who aren't Patreons. I mean, as if anyone's going to come further for this.
First of all, you've got to review this absolutely awful product.
Can the Patreons buy us one?
Secondly, I want to give a forward sell to the Patreon because this has not been the best advert for it. I'm going to review dog food.
It's taken about 2 months, but I think we've stoved in our own podcast. This is horrendous. They'll be falling over themselves to unsubscribe.
Oh dear, I'm crying.
Oh my God, this is so bad.
Just end this show.
Okay, cool. We're going over to Patreon. There's no one left, but we'll see you again next week.